I can't see the screen because you have all these things in front of my face.
Well, we're live already. Hello,
I'm sorry.
everybody.
Hi, I can't see you. I have all these things you put on in front of me. I can't see myself. I'm sorry. What did you do here?
So, everybody, I want to welcome you to another edition of Somos Más English with my beautiful co-host, Iskra Perez Salcedo. How you doing, Iskra?
I'm okay. I'm just trying to figure. Oh, there we are. Okay. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I was having some technical issues here. Getting used to all this. Hi everyone. It's been a long day for me. Wow, I started really early with interviews and all kinds of stuff. So, but yeah. Hi
I
everyone.
feel you. Yeah, end of the year, everybody's trying to get every project and thing done. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel the same similar pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wanted to talk today about a very serious situation. I noticed some things that the tyrannical communist dictatorship of Cuba is doing, and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of reminded me of what happened in Rwanda, the Rwandan genocide.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show you guys um, some images so that you understand what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, first I'll share a peaceful protest by a former merchant marine
Of
officer,
what
former
happened.
sailor.
Right.
So right here, you'll see him, and he's basically in his hometown in a public square, and he's supporting the San Isidro movement that we've talked about before. They're artists, different types, not just artists, but different types of people that came together to demand freedom of speech and just a better living conditions for the people in Cuba.
Right.
And it was, quite successful in catching the attention of the other people in Cuba, and then they also got support from the wider artist community, and those people, around 300, went to the doors of the Ministry of Culture. And
Right.
many people saw this on social media inside of Cuba and outside of Cuba, and then other protests started like this one. So he comes out to the square with his face mask, completely peaceful. He says, "Look, this is my documentation. I here of my own volition. I am safe. This is my certificate of my resume." And basically, he also got kicked out of his job because of his political views. So he says, "I'm gonna be here. This is my war, my trench, right? Nobody's gonna shut me up anymore. I'm ready to go to jail. I'm ready to go to jail so that my son can live a free life, etc." Okay. And then this happened 20 minutes after. And as you can see, he has been beaten up. What happened here is that he was violently attacked by a a thug, a drunken thug in the neighborhood. But, and this is key for today's topic, is that is how genocidal regimes work. They use other citizens for their dirty work. That man was literally sitting peacefully in a public square, and somebody came over and beat him up.
Correct.
And this man has intestinal fortitude, to say the least, because he has not shut up. And then I'm going to share because there's more.
Yes.
And then recently he found hold on, see if I can show it. The exact moment. One moment. Right. I think it's over here. He's right now he's broadcasting from his home in Cuba. And good Lord. Let's just and he's saying that when his wife came out in the morning in order to buy food for their child, she saw something outside of the door, and what she saw was, hold on, where is it? Hold on. What he found was a Molotov cocktail, excuse me, on his doorstep. Hold on. Where's the actual image? I'll show you guys the image later. I thought I had it on this video. But basically, a government thug or an actual, agent left a Molotov cocktail outside of his home.
Right.
So when and this is just an example. I have another picture. Facebook user. Facebook user, you cannot participate because unless, let me see a name. I don't see a name. I only see a. You don't have an actual profile. So no, I'm not gonna let you participate. Only folks with internal fortitude can participate here. So I don't know who you are.
Right.
I wanted to show you then an official site, the Twitter account of the government's propaganda arm. It's called Cuba Debate, Cuba Debate. Now, these folks posted something today quite interesting. Let me show you what it is. Where is the application window? It's here. Yeah, okay. Hold on. Oh, the photos. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. Guys, you can find this on Twitter. Cuba Debate. Cuba Debate. And it says, like the Bronze Titan would say, the Bronze Titan, Antonio Maceo, is a war hero, kind of a mythical figure in Cuba, because he was a mulatto general in the rebel forces that fought against Spain, right? And the rebel forces were famous, or in the case from the Spanish point of view, infamous, because there were 80%, freed slaves So they didn't have a lot of like the weapons that the Spanish had, but they had machetes that they used to cut sugarcane, right, in the sugarcane fields where they were well working, right, before they were free.
Right.
And over here, the bronze titan, said machete, machete, because it's like no worries. There's only a few of them, right?
Right.
And this is what the propaganda arm of the Cuban regime, right? Supposedly, this is like a magazine where Cubans debate, you know. But in reality, as you can see by the red and black colors, similar to Antifa and the July 26 movement and the Angolan flag and any other revolutionary communist thing, this is similar to the Ministry of Truth in 1984, where they spin lies. Well, Cuba debate does the opposite of debate. It is government propaganda. And these people are inciting violence. Okay?
Right.
They're saying machete, machete. There's only a few of them, referring to the dissidents and the opposition and just people that think differently in Cuba. I want to show you something else, and that is their Twitter account right now, which they had to change and take down because they knew that it looked bad, especially when us outside of Cuba started to comment on it.
Right.
So now it doesn't say machete, machete, machete. Now it says, oh, the Bronze Titan guides us in the battles of the revolution. But then if you scroll down, you see that people already had screenshot the original genocidal comment just to let them know, hey, what happened? You got scolded? So that's, you know, something that's a little funny. But now, in order to look at this scientifically, step by step, I wanted to share with you this parallel that I saw in the Rwandan genocide. Right. And the key here is slaughter as self-defense, right? Ideology and organization. The organizers of the genocide use ideology to bring, let's say, the average Cuban or the communist-minded Cuban or the ignorant Cuban to fear and hate the different Cuban, the democracy-loving Cuban, the freedom-loving Cuban, or the dissident or the opposition. Then they use the institutions of the state to transform the fear and hate into the myriad acts of hunting, raping, and killing that made up the genocide. To make the ideology deadly, the leaders had to be able to give orders and see them executed. For this, they had to control the military, check, the administration, check, and the political parties, check. They used the radio to disseminate propaganda. We all know that all media in Cuba is controlled by the government. But without the channels of command, the radio staff would not have sufficed. Of course, this is Rwanda, so this doesn't apply in terms of like any other variation or independent sources of media, except for the ones that the government allows just to look good for the international associations or NGOs or whatever. And as you can see here, in that genocide, propagandists use newspapers and radio and etc. If, as you know, Cuba Debate, Granma newspaper, all the news. If you think that outside in the Western world, mainstream media is biased, in Cuba, it is run by the government, everything. So they already have this. Check, 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 check. And over here, I want to highlight this part. 2 weeks after the first attack, and when the invaders were already retreating, local officials incited the Hutu. Let's say that these are, again, the people that repudiate the people that think differently, the protesters, right? The peaceful protesters. These are they incited just the common Cuban, right? Living in wherever to kill some 300, let's say, protesters, neighbors. And this is key in a self-defense operation. So the government incited one part of the population to kill their neighbors in self-defense operation. Slaughter as self-defense. Keep that in your mind as I show you something very interesting. I've shown it before, but let me bring you back to it, and that is an article in the Cuban Constitution. Let's go. Where is the Cuban Constitution? It's here. Okay. Here we go. Now, okay, Article 4 of the Constitution reads like this. Citizens have the right to combat through any means, including armed combat, when other means are not available, against any that intend to topple the political, social, and economic order established by this Constitution. Of course, if you try to topple the political or social or economic order, and what is that order? The socialist system. And this Constitution supports is irrevocable. I'm going to read the whole thing so you understand where I'm going. The defense of our socialist homeland is the greatest honor and the supreme duty of every Cuban. Nothing about family there, nothing about God. Treason is the most serious of crimes. Whoever should commit treason will be subject to the most severe sanctions. The socialist system that this Constitution supports is irrevocable. And this is the clincher. Citizens have the right to combat through any means, including armed combat, when other means are not available, against any that intend to topple the political, social, and economic order established by this Constitution. In the 2019 Cuban Constitution, lynching has been legalized. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a genocide waiting to happen.
Right.
And I say that not just because of the parallels that I've shown you with the Rwandan genocide, not because of this in the Constitution, not because of what's happened to the different protesters, but also because of the conditions regarding COVID. Because if we look at the steps to conduct a genocide, I'll show them to you right here, excuse me. What was it? Oh, here we go. The steps to conduct genocide you'll see something very troubling brewing. The first step is classification. I'm going to zoom in so that you can see it. Hold on. What is going on? Here we go. The first step is classification. Well, all cultures have categories to distinguish people into us and them by ethnicity, race, religion, or nationality. In this case, political correctness, right? I mean, thought crime. We're talking about non-socialist people. Not even because these artists, most of them are left-leaning. They are against the embargo. They are not Trump supporters. They don't want Yankee imperialism. They don't want annexation. They don't want anything like that. They just want to be able to practice their art freely and to speak their mind.
Correct.
So, over here you see that they mention, you know, German and Jew, Hutu and Tutsi, and in this case it would be revolucionario, revolutionaries, versus what would you call them? Mercenaries is the name that they have assigned them, right? Because they say that the Miami Cubans are funding these artists in order to destabilize the revolution. So revolutionaries versus mercenaries would be the classification here. Okay? Then we go to symbolization. We give names or other symbols to the classifications. We name people Jews or Gypsies or distinguish them by colors or dress, apply them to members of groups. All right? So in this case, the symbol would be, and this leads to the next point, close to what they call the people outside, which are worms. They call those gusanos, right?
Yeah, that would be me.
And that is step 3, dehumanization. One group denies the humanity of the other group. Members of it are equated with animals, vermin, insects, or diseases. Dehumanization overcomes the normal human revulsion against murder. So, non-revolutionary, mercenary, worms. Then we go to organization. Genocide is always organized, usually by the state, check. Sometimes informally. Also check if you see what happened with the San Isidro movement. People were throwing bottles at them. You saw this young gentleman get beaten up by this drunken thug that was sent over, right? So you'll see that the organization can be both state, by the state, or they use, or even in Venezuela when they use these criminals, in the motorcycles that were basically going around shooting protesters and students. I forgot the name. I don't know if it was marimbas or something like that, but these paramilitary groups, that's what I wanted to say. In Venezuela, we saw this a lot. And remember that Venezuela was basically turned communist into what it is now by Cuban agents, 25,000 Cuban agents throughout every facet of society, especially the military. And that's how the plans are made. Then comes polarization. Extremists drive the groups apart. Hate groups broadcast polarizing propaganda. Check. We already know that the media is controlled by the Cuban government. Laws may forbid intermarriage or social interaction. Well, the Constitution says that you have freedom of assembly, but at the same time, you don't. Extremist terrorism targets moderates, like left-leaning, freedom-loving artists. We're not talking about radicals like maybe the Miami mercenaries, as they call us, right? That we want all the rights and all the capitalism and all the democracy. They're not talking about the Unpaku or Somos Más or the myriad of groups, the people that wanted the plebiscito, what is the name? The Paya movement. So Cuba decided, right? So they'll target the peaceful protesters, right?
Right.
Then they have preparation. The victims are identified and separated out because of their ethnic or religious identity. Now, this is where I wanted to bring in the COVID-19 issue. We have in Cuba right now places called shelters, albergues, where they keep basically Cubans that visit the island from, the world, and they quarantine them for 14 days, right? Now, they do that to, I guess, just insult them and remove their dignity, because these are horrible places. Like they're unhygienic. But considering that they broke in and arrested the San Isidro protesters with a COVID-19 made-up reason, pretense, thank you, oh my God, with the pretense that one of them had already had a checkup, but the checkup was not good enough or something, some lie. They went in, dressed up as doctors, and they arrested and separated the San Isidro movement protesters with a COVID-19 issue. And now, thank you, Sydney, they had these albergues, which are isolation centers or shelters, where they keep people that are supposedly may have COVID-19. This is a perfect reason, I say, for them to say, you know what, there is a focal, there is an outbreak of COVID where all the protesters are, right? And then go in there with special forces, vans, remove them by force, take them to these isolation centers, and then they will disappear. And of course comes the extermination. Or you could say, you know what, the government doesn't have to do it in these centers. They could say, oh my God, you know, out of nowhere, this multitude of people just came to the isolation center because they were very angry with these protesters, and we couldn't stop them from breaking in and killing everyone.
Right.
And of course, that leads to the denial, right? Which is, of course, them always covering up, like they did that tweet, right? They said, machete, machete, machete. And then they say, oh no, it's different. We caught them. But, ladies and gentlemen, seeing how strong the San Isidro movement protest was, and how much people have woken up. Today is the 2nd year anniversary of mobile internet in Cuba. That's right, 2 years ago, for the first time ever, Cubans were allowed to have a browser connected to the internet on their mobile phone. 2 years ago. Due to this, many people in Cuba, although you may not have seen, have woken up. And although right now you see people just filming, before they were not even filming. Now these images are getting out, and now we are standing up for them, and they know that we have their back. And that is also why we're doing this stream today, because I want to make sure that the world knows,
right,
that they could, and they have the ability, the power, they have the excuse, they have every means to commit political genocide in Cuba. And that is the end of my exposition. How is everyone?
How's everybody?
We're
Good evening.
good. Let's, I want to bring in some of our friends that are, I think, on the chat. I know Sydney's there, and so let's put our link through. I also sent you on Saturday night. I send you another link of a young boy that his story moved me, because he made a video coming out of his own home where he had just had an extensive fight with his own family that were asking him to leave the battle, and right after, I saw that video, that video moved me so much that I made a video myself, and I actually, it was towards the Cuban mothers. Well, my video, I'll tell you, this has currently about 5,000 views.
Wow.
Yes. And I just had some sort of Cuban official tell me that comment on it, and I'll tell you what this person's name and what he's telling me about my video, because it's very interesting, how they word it, how they try to turn things around, because my video was basically asking these mothers to not stop, to give love to the young people that are just asking for their human rights of being free, and to basically to have their backs. Well, this gentleman let me, and it's and I apologize, I had it, and then so his name is Jesus Ferreiro Diaz, and he's telling me you are totally engañada. So basically,
blinded, or it's kind of like saying blinded, or
blinded.
yeah.
I am either completely blinded or I have been bought by someone. And my answer back to him was, "Sir, I apologize, but there is not enough money in the world that can buy my silence." So his response to that was, su discurso me parece conocido y a la vez muy oportuno, teniendo en cuenta que un nuevo camino que han tomado tratando de confundir a los jóvenes, los cuales están intentando directa e indirectamente a cometer locuras. Les advierto, eso es un delito. Decir la verdad, no, pero tergiversar con el ánimo de causar un desastre social con algunos jóvenes desorientados sí es un delito. Solo les advierto. So basically, he's telling me that we're inciting our youngsters to go out and do and commit, wrongdoings, which we're not. That's not what we're doing. First of all, we don't want them to break any laws, and that is not what they're doing. They are not breaking any laws. Everything they have done up to now has been very peaceful. I want everyone to understand that they have no guns. Our young adults and our young people and no one in the Cuban population have guns. So they have nothing to defend themselves with. Okay? Give me 1 minute, Ernesto. Let me finish that. So for these people to be saying that we are manifesting or inciting them to go out and commit or break the laws, it's insane. That's not, they haven't burned anything. All they have done is put up signs asking for freedom for them and their country. And as a mother myself, as a Cuban mother myself, I am very proud of what our young children are doing, our young Cubans are doing right now in this new generation. You are up, Ernesto.
No,
by the way, the text hasn't finished. I have the thread continues, and we'll go into it because I tell him, look, I don't think that freedom of expression is a has. I tell him I don't see how freedom of expression, which is a human rights, is breaking the law, because it's not that it doesn't. That's not in any other country. That is not breaking the law. And he tells me his answer to me was, it's not the same to ask for freedom than to difamar y calumniar, than to say lies and I tell him they're not saying lies. They're talking about their truth. And all they're asking is to be able to do it freely. End of story. Go ahead, Ernesto. I'm
How
sorry.
you guys doing? No, I just wanna say hi to everybody. It's been a while. I'm being in the school, and at the same time try
I'm
to be
sorry.
active.
Yeah.
So I'm back in the school full time again, and kind of like get to adapt to everything
Well,
here.
I'll tell you what, when once tax season starts coming around the corner on January 15th,
Mm-hmm.
between January 15th and April 15th, and who knows, because last year it extended up to July. So, and I think this next year I see very similar things coming. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, you guys are going to lose me quite a bit, but we'll see what I can do.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
But welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. No, I mean it's a pleasure to be with you, and I just want to say one thing. I'm kind of like need to catch up because there's a lot of things missing, especially with the older. I hear a little bit here and there about San Isidro and all the you know nightmare that the Cuban people is actually suffering right now. I'm very sorry for what I'm seeing on through the Eliezer and you guys, and it's very sad. I mean, I never saw that we're gonna be living in the world that we live in, especially in Cuba, having all that stuff that they don't respect your own property, they don't respect your private section. They just like violate them because they want to. It's something that I never.
By the way, I mean, the COVID situation and the way governments have used it,
Mhm.
unfortunately, is not just in Cuba.
Mm. Yeah, it was a video.
Governments are misusing this all over the world.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, and I'm agree with you.
But
Um,
we're gonna stay on task and talk about what we're here to
I
talk
know,
about.
I know. And then later on, I'm gonna share a video with you guys. It's a channel, I believe. Maybe Jose might see it, might saw it already, or maybe Ricket or anyone of you guys. It's called BL Mundo, something like that. They were kind of like doing a reflection about what is happening around the world and how, like you said, how everybody using COVID-19 to lock us down and kind of like submit us to do what communism is doing, like actually have one way out and no freedom for people to thinking and all that stuff. But that's not the point right now. I just share it later. But I mean, I'm glad you guys are still doing what we normally do, keep fighting for Cuba and actually exposing all that what they're doing over there, because sometimes it's hard for them to speak, but we have that power, and I'm agree we should use it, honestly.
I'll be doing this either until they're gone or until I'm dead. So
Yeah,
whichever one
me
comes.
too. No, why I raised my hand later when you were reading that letter is because you say the guy said, oh, you, I don't know which one, I completely lost.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were saying about the gums and stuff. Like we
Yeah.
don't have it. I say I do. As I said, I do have it. It's just for my own protection and my family
No,
as
no,
well.
no. I mean, in Cuba, they don't have. The guy is
Oh,
saying this. The guy is saying that we're sending our young people to war, like go to have a war again. So this is. Let me catch you up to date. What we're
okay.
saying is that what the government is stating now is that these young people that are standing up
Mm,
are basically breaking the laws. Okay,
wow.
that they are doing all these things against the government, and the reason why they're kind of like turning things around is to have an excuse to basically execute these young people.
Oh, wow. So they
This is
now
what This is why we titled today's
genocide.
genocide, right? Because and
Because
this has been done in the past many times. Listen, when
mm,
I don't know if you saw. if you haven't seen it, go to Carlitos Madrid's
Oh,
today on a 2-hour interview with Carlitos Madrid. And I talked about well, my most of my life, but you know, he concentrated on, you know, when I left Cuba in 1980, and that was exactly what they did.
hmm,
They treated us as the thugs. That we were
the worst.
the worst people in the world. We
Yeah.
were criminals, and the only law we were breaking was that we were against their
Hmm.
idealism. My I mean, I was a child. First of all, I was bullied and told that I was a gusana. I was
Escoria. You were
escoria.
all kind of stuff.
First, I
The
went from
worm,
being
the scourge of the earth.
Let me make a correction. You were not called. You're still being called.
Oh yeah, yeah. We we all are. We all
That
are.
hasn't
yeah,
changed.
I went from being the number one student in my school. Okay, the number one student in my school. I was the leader. I would every single day. I would go to the matutino. I was the one that would do the poems. I was the one that would sing. I went from being that to
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 zero.
being exactly to being bullied by all of my classmates.
Hmm. I believe you, because that happens to me too. I mean, I bet like Jose might suffer that too,
And
but
I was 9 years old. So this was not just happening to adults.
no, I
And
mean,
this was because my family decided that they wanted to leave the country,
hmm,
okay, because they were against that government. That was the only law we were breaking.
no, it's I believe you because my uncle came in the 1980s too. I think, and I mean, I had to watch the Carlitos Madrid, but he was into a Peru embassy, so he get into it. He broke it in, and from what I hear since I was a kid, I burned in 1988, so it's 8 years later. My mom told us, since I was a kid, and I have, knowledge about it, that my uncle came out. They return it on the embassy. They asking if you got a family that would like to come with you. All that process. They say, yeah. Well, go and get it. So my uncle had to find a way to sneak it and get back to my family that they were living in El Vedado, close to actually the U.S. embassy.
Right.
And he sneaked it through, passed through, because it was a lot high violence shit. People, washing all that stuff, looking for those who are scoria and gusanos and all that. And anyways, short story is that he got to where my dad was, asking, hey, you gonna come and you got this option? My dad said, no, I cannot leave my grandma. She got heart problems at that time. Anyways, he said, well, I gotta go, but I won't forgive you guys. I'm gonna put, when I get there and be settled everything, I will put like, the legal way for you to come to the US. And he left. And the way back, those people that now receive us, like, you guys are welcome, you can come back, you're Cubans again.
Yeah,
They
because
beat him.
we had this.
They
Yeah.
beat him. But I mean, my uncle tell us that there were, like the center, what we call cabillas, the metal thing from the construction, they folded on the carbon box.
Yes.
And when a baseball bat beat him up, like he barely, he got lucky, like he got almost, surrendered by those people, like a 1 or 2 blocks away from the embassy. So they hit him, wasn't that bad. He couldn't make it, but it was like, I'm surprised when he came back on 1994 or something like that, some of those years, the same people actually bully him and said all that bunch of stuff that is being told by that guy. It's the same people, say, hey man, how you doing? You're welcome back. We're glad to be here. Do you got some
And
cash
they
for me?
needed our money. They needed our
Wait,
dollars. They were
Mhm.
Ernesto,
Yeah.
you say that they use rebar that metal
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
wrapped it around
Hmm.
what?
Like a my uncle says like a carbon boxes. You break it out the
Cardboard.
boxes and you fold them.
Cardboard. Yeah.
Carbon boxes. Yeah.
Oh, so wait, they wrapped it in.
They wrapped it up so you don't
It
see what is coming,
right,
and they
like
hit
in
you with
the
that.
Oh my God, what is the name of the
The
when you
regular
get
boxes, the
the
one that
shipment
you.
from Amazon? What's the
Yeah.
name?
There you go. Oh my lord.
Cardboard.
I'm sorry,
This
Jose. What was it?
Cardboard.
Car-
cardboard. Yeah.
Okay, so they got a rebar, they wrapped it in cardboard, and then
And
they will
then
beat you
hit you
with
with that.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. So that people can't see the rebar. They just saw the cardboard. So they think that they're not hitting them with
Hmm.
something heavy. They're hitting them with something light.
Okay,
And
so in the news it would look like a pillow fight.
yeah,
Cardboard.
yeah, boom, boom, boom.
Exactly.
But in the
Wow.
center, it's not. A lot of
But
people got really
did
bad
you
injuries.
guys know that they put us in a concentration camp? A lot of people don't know that. There's no stories about this. They
Hmm.
put
There's
us
not.
in a concentration camp. They put us in the Mosquito. We were there. I mean, for days we were there. My family was there for 3 days, but there was
Hmm.
thousands of people, and we were
Yep,
there
those guys. Yeah, we're
with
talking about those guys.
we were
And
there
Jesus.
with
It's true.
people from jail. We were there from people from that were for out, that had psychological. They took the people from the los locos,
the
Mental
Mazorra,
institution.
disorders. Yeah, and also Riquet, whatever they found, that was just one thing. It could be like a baseball bat, a piece of wood, anything that it can break you down or hit you super bad. They use it, and also not just that. They when go back to your family that is had nothing to do with you leaving the country, and they throw eggs on you, at your house and everything. And I was like, wow, my mom has to step outside and say, I would bet, I would dare any one of you guys throw any one egg. I got an old lady she's sick, she got heart problems, and you guys need to respect yourself before you throw a first egg. It was very bad.
there was 13 of us leaving. They would come in trucks and buses.
Hmm.
It was every day for 2 months. People would come and just it was horrible.
You know, one
I
thing
already
as
told the story today, so I'm not gonna redo it. But it was just
as exiles, one of the things that we haven't done a good job is about telling our story, like the
and
true
that's
story in English. Like I wish that we could get the the Cuban media national news and translate it,
Hmm.
or because for example, right now for the last week they're doing exactly what the name of Briquette's title for this live is, which is they're preparing for genocide in
yeah.
case things get out of
That's
hand.
why we're doing
They
these
El
they have
programs.
menticiero.
This is why we're
yeah, in
doing
the
it.
Mexico, they've been putting propaganda every day for an hour or two, pretty much one making it right for people to pretty much go against their own people there, making it that it's legal. So that came out like in every in the national newspaper. Everybody knows now that they have this, like Raquel was saying, they have this law, but they did not just don't just have the law; they're promoting the law for this to happen in case things get out of hand, and they're excusing it by saying that there's people paying from outside Cuba. But honestly, if there's any, first of all, there's very few people who are even doing this, and second of all, it's Cubans. They're saying that it's the CIA, which is an insult to America. They're saying that the U.S. is, doing like trying to raise paramilitary groups within Cuba, which is a complete fallacy. We wish, but no, that's not happening. It's just that the manipulation they're using. If we're able to tell for example, the American people or anywhere in the world, like exactly what they're saying to the Cubans in Spanish, and we're able to say that in English, it's a game over because they're full of like complete manipulation of like supposedly the U.S. going to go invade Cuba tomorrow, and that's not happening.
Yeah.
So it's they're preparing the people to get the military on civil with civilian clothes and go out there, start beating up anybody, any young person who gets up there and starts protesting, and
Exactly.
then for whoever in the population still believes in that system, archaic system, to join them and go at it. It's going to be a
And
civil
that's
war.
why we can't stop. That's why we can't stop. We can't stop talking. We can't stop informing. We can't stop having these. And we can't. I just had surgery on Monday, and I am here today because I know how important this is.
That's
It,
good.
we can't stop.
No, I mean, I'm
So,
surprised that Jose mentioned something that I've been hearing. They claim that we pay them, or the United States government is paying the CIA, FBI. It's like, how in the world they gonna make those transitions, or at least send a check, to
Well,
to for
tell
their.
they
plus,
tell
like
us.
they're using, like if you see in the news, or they're putting like this low, like this like they're finding these people who are, common criminals who are supposedly doing these acts, right, and supposedly are getting paid from Cubans here within the U.S. And they're saying that the CIA is behind this. Come on, really? The CIA is going to get people who are completely unequipped, completely not prepared, completely. They're not. Let's say if the CIA is going to pull something, it's not going to be that. And then, I mean, don't we wish that the U.S. or somebody, not the U.S., anybody internationally, stops
Right.
in and puts a stop to this?
Mm.
Why is it getting out of hand? Because their own people, even socialists within the government, reformers, are finally saying that's enough, and they don't
Yes.
know where this is going.
For everyone that's in the chat and everyone that is saying what a good job you guys are doing and how important this is, please share it with your friends. We are just starting this channel. We've been at it for a couple of months now, right, Riquette? Yeah. And we are on normally. Are we going back to our normal routine at 8 o'clock, Riquette, or are we? What is?
I like 10 o'clock better. I'll be honest, just because I got a lot of stuff
Okay.
to do.
So we're
So
gonna be
it was a pretty tight
okay. So we're
schedule.
gonna
Yeah.
change the schedules to Monday at 10 p.m. But please share it with your friends. It's important for this information to get out into the world. And we all have we all have people that speak English. So if they can't come in during this time, at least they can see it at a later time. So please share this. Please like our pages. Please come in and discuss with us. We love having new people on here. It's important for the word to get out. Please,
Help
please.
us make content. Maybe you don't want to show up in camera, but maybe you have a piece of content that you know
And
that
maybe,
is translated or something, and you can put it up.
like our pages, put comments on comment. All of that makes the pages, it makes the comments move more. So we need that kind of movement so that more people can see it and it gets to more people. That's the whole point of this.
Sydney,
And it's
Sydney don't want to
quiet.
talk. Yeah, he don't want to talk or what? He's just gonna take notes and.
I'm just absorbing
Oh,
from all of you. Yeah, it's a very hi everyone. It's a very very interesting topic, and we've been dealing with this for a long time. And in the specific case of the genocide, this is a 21st century. Genocides are not popular, and they know, but but they still have that card under the sleeve as because it's backed up by the Constitution, which is the worst. So I don't know any constitution in the world that would back up genocide. And our Constitution in the Article 4 is very clear about it. If you have no other means to defend the revolution, the armed means are good to go. So they are giving you the green light for the people armed themselves and fight with whatever they have. Back in the days of in the 19th century, in the fights for the independence with Spain, they used machetes and that's what Rike was showing. They use machetes as well in Rwanda, and they are machetes are still available for Cubans because we don't have armed weapons, we don't have
Or lawnmowers. We
guns,
don't have
so
lawnmowers,
they
so
are.
people cut the grass with machetes. Just putting that out there.
Yep. So I think they are just threatening uh, with the information of the law, the supreme law of the land in Cuba, that is backing up the is backing up violence, and it's I think, but in the bottom of their hearts, they don't want to use a genocide, but it's working very good as a way of threatening people to say we can do it if we have no option. And they are very good at spreading the word because they have the media.
Yeah.
They have the formal media and they have the informal media. The informal medium is the CDRs, the Committee of Defense of the Revolution, the other FMC, Federal Federation of Women, and they have all this
Right.
mass organization they have created just to, like, an informal way of the people gathering voluntarily. And so they have both sides of the story. They have the formal, which is the military and all the things we've been seeing in the last couple of days in Havana with the special forces, like SWAT troops and all kinds of special teams that they have for, like, uh, anti anti gathering or whatever they want to call it. So specialized forces, military, to fight back if the people would like to take this decide to take the streets. So they also like to put names on us, and they have very specific terms, and the terms mercenaries, the terms terrorist, are very delicate terms, because if you are saying terrorism and mercenarism are crimes. So if you are accusing me of being a terrorist, you will have to prove that, because terrorism is a major crime that can go to international trials of war or international tribunals. So if you're accusing those youngsters from San Isidro of terrorism, uh, I'm I'm asking them to prove it, because you cannot use a very such a word to say that a people is some group of people is a terrorist and then do nothing about it.
Right.
Because in any country, in any respected Western country, if you discover that you have a terrorist group, a terrorist cell in your society, you have to use all the force of the law to fight that group and to take it into justice, because terrorism is one of the major crimes of this age. So you are disqualifying these people, giving them some adjectives that are very serious, like terrorism or mercenaries, without any proof of it, because
Right.
you're not pursuing them. So you are admitting that you have terrorism in your country, and you're doing nothing about it.
But didn't they do that the same
Espionage.
with us? Didn't they when in 1980s? Didn't they do that in the in the 90s with the people that wanted to leave? I mean, they've done it several times. This is not new.
And they always call them missionaries, but they never took it up to terrorist. Because there was a couple people who went and did acts in Cuba, but they were terrorist acts. I mean, whether valid or not, there were terrorist acts, so there were at least acts against the dictatorship. But like calling everybody, they're grouping all of us together, whether you're pacifist or not. Everybody's getting bunched up on this one. And then the thing is, San Isidro hasn't done anything.
But they have though in the past, when when people from whenever anybody from the US has, any opposition group in the US has done anything against the Cuban government, which we haven't really done anything against them, but just talking about them, we're the terrorist. They've always said that to us. They've always referred to us in the exile as the terrorist.
I think in this current time, there's no evidence anything in terrorism, and then we also especially for San Isidro and the people protesting and the few people they've caught supposedly with this axe or whatever, it's like really they have nothing to do with the San Isidro movement, and they have nothing to do with the artists who are protesting, nor the people out in Camagüey, nor the people out again who are protesting.
So, but Jose, I mean, you saw the clip of their one of their last news media that they put together,
Mm-hmm.
where they took clips from people saying things here,
mm-hmm.
and then what was happening there.
Right. And what they're trying to do is link them together, because what happens is that in order for any opposition or any person in any movement in Cuba to get the word out, they have to call all of us, or they have to get the word out to any YouTuber, because the regular media doesn't sometimes pay attention to what's going on. Right. So they have to get to anybody, and they're trying to do they're trying to link and some people together so they can try to form a case. But
exactly.
But it's not. It's impossible. I mean, they don't have nothing
to do. Sell to the world. That's exactly what we're saying. This is what they're going to sell to the world, and this is why it's important for us to say that's not true. Mm-hmm. And we have to sell the truth. We have to tell the truth about what's true here.
And even though no matter how many times you said it, they still not believe it, because I don't know if you guys remember, but Paco released a couple, I would say weeks or a month ago, a video that the news in Cuba, it was saying that he was a terrorist, he was organizing over there. Also, he got a gun, like a plastic gun, and look at that, they are armed and all that stuff. Like Jose was saying, they actually create a whole story connecting Jose with Sydney. They are working together with Iskra at the same time, and now Ernesto is a head coach of all those guys. So they are terrorists because they are terrifying our people.
They're linked to the CIA.
Yeah. Ernesto is working for the CIA and FBI at the same time, and Riquet is the president of the whole terrorism over here. So. And the people say, like, "Oh my God, we're in danger."
Guy with a hat, he's the boss.
Yeah, and we're in danger.
And everything that comes out on that one,
the criminal mastermind.
Not only one channel, not only one newspaper, and that only one news channel. That's what everyone believes, because they have nothing else to believe in.
And just like China, they have an army. I'm telling you, an army of people on social media, of their people, trying to break any type of of news or any type of campaign that we're trying to promote. And they've done it already. And we have to be very aware of that. I mean, these people have people living here in the United States. They have people living all over the world, and they have an army of disinformation and manipulation to try to make that scenario that we're talking about happen. And
this is a great point that Jorge Delgado is making. The matter of the fact is that they are in the UN, and it's a joke, and it's true. Mm-hmm. Not only are they in the UN, they're part of the board of directors. I mean,
it's also I mean, it's also true that the other day my sister passed me on Facebook a video Ultra calling back there in Cuba right now, using I think Juancho or any other one of those YouTubers, and they prank it. They say, "Hey man, I got this is going on over here," and the guy just started. Oh, don't worry about it. We got everything in control. He pretended that he was one of the highest level
No, he
commander
didn't
in
pretend.
chief.
To be honest, that was the highest. Like in in Cuba, you have provinces, and then in some
Yeah,
provinces you have like cities or municipalities.
municipal.
This is
Yeah.
the guy in charge of the whole
hmm
intelligence for the whole municipality, saying that
I
you're about to say.
I was laughing, but at the same time, I was scared. Like, is that gonna be the reaction when something like that happens? I mean,
We
it sounds
should
funny.
translate that so that people know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I mean,
because this guy
Rica.
was saying, "Yeah, we got the response, the rapid response unit. Those are regular civilians
hmm
ready to unleash on civilians."
I
He was saying, "We got our cyber people working. That's their social army trying to disseminate information and trying to manipulate the situation." And he was saying, "And we got people to beat up others, and we got our repressors ready."
they were
Like
laughing.
honestly, if we translate that, that's gold.
Yeah, I mean, they were laughing, but I mean, we laughing because we know what he's talking about. But he was given names like, oh, the muchachos, mean the
Yeah.
kids, and stuff like that. We laughing because it sounds funny, but that's a neat name to how they're gonna repress whoever actually don't comply for what they want.
And that's
And
at
it
the
was like
municipal level. Imagine the whole country.
the whole country. So it's something on the country, far, far from the country. We're not talking about Havana City or where the actually big kitchen is. And I was like, wow, is that how they're gonna react to something like small? I can imagine, like Jose was saying, what would happen in Havana? What would do when more people actually start, protesting and acting rebellion and stuff like that? What would be the next step? Get the gun and start shooting like you guys were saying, like massacre, killing people like no problem until you commit to it or you comply. I was like,
Well,
scary.
I've heard. I think there was one guest in Eliezer's show that spoke about how in his mother's house in Cuba, the government told her that they needed her to collaborate for the revolution, and then they went into her closet. They dug out a hole in the wall and they stashed um, automatic firearms in there. So
And
I bet they do that in a bunch of different houses all over the country, and they are ready to, well, to keep their power. I think, because remember, if they look what's happened since they let internet be widespread, well,
Right.
by Cuban standards, right? The social media
Yeah, and you have,
has not stopped. We have not stopped.
yeah,
We've grown, right?
Right.
And
yeah.
things are
They are
getting
they
out of hand
are
for them. Okay, if you look at, I just saw this video from Luis Manuel Otero Alcántara,
Yeah.
Luisma,
Yeah.
and he had like more young people, in this artist sort of like get together.
Right.
Um, you see a lot of this stuff in Wynwood, but before the beer bug. Uh, here you go. Wait, you know what? Let me share it with sound so that you guys can laugh. We can explain to the English-speaking audience what we mean and what it means.
You're so funny.
Okay, here we go. Should be able to see it. Right.
Oh wow.
And I made it big. Make it big. Go big. Or go home. Come on.
I cannot translate that. Okay, don't ask me that, man. That's way too much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that silencing is
So
getting bigger.
Uh,
basically, they were saying, they were calling the current president, Diaz-Canel, a son of a B word.
yeah.
done.
If you wanna,
Closer.
if that's
That's
one way of
closer.
saying it. That's that's a nice way of saying it. But these are not these young people of color, right? we're not even broaching that weird like subject, right? Because the dictatorship looks at one way, and then a lot of Cubans look another way. But we don't have to go there right now. It's not that month. Maybe in February we'll go there.
Right.
And I wanted to okay, it's 11:15. I wanted actually to show this video by these two Canadian artists, musicians. As we say, goodbye. It's 11:15. So these girls, the video is long. It's 22 minutes. We can talk, but
Right.
I love this video so much that I want to share it. What do you guys think? You guys agree? You ever heard of Okan?
Bring it on.
Awesome.
Who's it? I'm sorry. Who did you say they were?
Okan, Okan.
Okay.
They're really good, actually. I went and actually followed
So
their.
we have. I wanna say hello to a few people on the chat, if you don't mind, because we've got new people here. So let's say hello. We've got. I'm gonna go back, and we should really do this more often because this is
Vegas, Nevada.
we have. Leanne Hakim.
Thanks for sharing, Leanne.
Yeah, and then we have
saw her, yeah.
Armando de la Paz, Jorge Delgado, Fabio Astray Campos Ramos. Thank you for joining us. We have, I don't know who that Cuban libertarian is.
It's a new guy.
Where did you see Fabio? I'm trying to find his comment. Here we go.
Fabio is,
There we go.
and we have Jorge Delgado. Did I mention him already?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we had someone from Las Vegas, Nevada, down here, and I can't. Now they're gone. Like Cuban Digital. I don't know who that is. Okay, Fabio Astan. Okay, now I missed. And then there was someone from Las Vegas. What happened to them?
They're around. I think I put them up. That was Just Goods.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. All the new people that have joined us. Thank you for joining us. Please share. Please like. Please comment. We want this little channel to grow and to get to. We want this information in English. I know there are a lot of Spanish channels talking about Cuban politics, but we feel it's important to talk about Cuban politics in English and for it to get out for this information to get out into the world. And that's why I had thought about doing something like this for a very long time. And we just started this a couple of months ago, but we really want this word to get out. So if you can please share it with your friends. I know a lot of us have, American friends that speak English, and European friends that speak English. Everyone in the world except the Hispanic world speak English. So that's why it's important for this information to get out there. So please share, please like, and please come back Mondays at 10 p.m.
I gotta learn how to do voiceover over videos. I'm telling you, we'll kill it.
Oh my God, that'll be
like
great,
a double,
man.
like doubling people, like putting some wine on, but like, and the guy's like, oh yeah.
I may get an editor actually. I think he works with you, Jose. It's a young Venezuelan
Carlos, he's good.
gentleman. Yeah,
He's really good.
yeah. So he contacted me. I'm gonna be looking over his work and
Cool.
because we gotta pump out more of this stuff, and it's
Yeah,
just
and
it's not
he knows
enough.
a little English, at least so far.
Jorge's asking if we're only on Mondays. So Jorge, we're on Mondays, but Jose Views down here. Jose View, please introduce yourself and tell Jorge Delgado what days you're on.
I'm one more of many. I'm on English on Tuesdays, which is really what we're trying. We're really trying to get this word out in English. On Saturdays, I do one where I let everybody in on at 3, and that's in Spanish. But really, we're just trying to kill it in English. Tuesday nights at 8, I do mine in English, and yeah, that will eventually change if I can find a better way of doing it. But that's what we got.
That, so that's it. And we join Jose all the time. So you'll see us over there. You'll see us over there.
And I got Roma tomorrow, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got Roma. So we'll see if Roma steps up and tries a little English. If not, I'll translate the whole thing.
If she speaks English, I'm having her over here too.
We'll find out tomorrow.
No. I won't have her tomorrow. But,
No, I said we'll find out if she speaks English tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, yeah.
She was game, so hey.
You beat me to it because I've had her in my list for a while.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, good for you.
I'll
Good.
be I'm usually around the same time as Jose, or sometimes not. Sometimes on Wednesdays. It depends. I've been trying to do more translations of things that come out of Cuba. So even though I may not do the streaming on on a regular basis, you're still gonna see content in Cuban Libertarian
Yes.
in YouTube. So you can follow me there. I'll be interviewing. I'm talking with you know what? I'm not gonna say who I'm talking with, but it's gonna be a very nice interview with a very excellent guest.
By the way, I did. I actually had a conversation with Albuquerque, and I'm gonna get with you because we're gonna have him one night over here with us.
Yes.
I'll be
That'll
killer.
be-
I'll be good. I'll be
Yeah.
good.
Gonna be writing notes and taking notes. Like, can I ask this? 'Cause I got
Yeah.
a bunch of
I'll
questions.
be all over the chat on that one. That's gonna be good.
Mastermind.
He's so good.
I'm new to this world, so I need to get informed from them.
He's a professor, y'all. For those of you that don't know in the chat, he's a professor down south.
We have to figure out the timeline because we either have to record it or do it before or after his.
That's right. He's on every night, Monday through Friday, right?
Yeah, at 9. I
At
think
Yeah, but it's at 9 to 10:30.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna
You
be
can come
hard.
after the show. You can come right after the show.
We should.
Exactly. Yeah. 1 hour
Yeah.
Albuquerque.
Boom, boom.
Get out your news, your download, and then come over here, and we'll
Don't get
smash the
undressed.
dictatorship.
Yeah, don't get undressed. Stay dressed like you normally are, and keep rolling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this thing. You guys can hang out, and then we'll call it a night. Okay.
Cool.
Good.
All right. Here we go.
Honey, you look so tired, honey.
No, what? Men don't get tired.
No.
You
Sydney
never heard?
looks tired tonight. Sydney looks very tired. I know he works. So for those of you that don't know, Sydney works Sydney's one of our health heroes. So he's been dealing with COVID, and we appreciate everything he does. So I know he's going through a lot.
Oh, and I'm working on something right now. I'm still kind of like get that thought, but I might enjoy like Jose's doing his view. He's gonna call, I still figured out the name of the channel yet, but I'm gonna try to open something that actually is deliberated more about general topics and covering Cuba here and international things. But actually,
I've been thinking about doing other things as well.
my idea, and I want to outlaw it. It's just a preview could change, but I will call the channel. It's gonna call the First Amendment. So
Nice.
Ooh,
it's challenging.
right from the start.
I'm still actually developing that. So Jose, you and I can actually. I would like to have you guys, especially Jose, work with that.
I need to invite. I got Iskra. I need to invite each of you to my show because each of you has like a good.
You inspire me.
So with Jose, so we can do it. We can go to each other's show. At least we already have plenty of content.
Right,
Yeah, I'm very excited. I started thinking for a while I'm actually working with Somos Mas and here in Tampa, but I was like,
well, after today's interview in Carlitos Madrid, to be honest with you, I had so many people contact me. I actually think I moved a lot of emotions. People needed to I had an older man call me in tears today. And I felt so bad, but I know this is necessary, right? It's necessary to talk about these things, all these things we went through, because we've been hiding them inside of our souls for so many years. Let me tell you that I just recently started talking about this. In my family, we never spoke about it. After we came to the United States, we never spoke about it. I started talking about this about 4 years ago because a friend of mine that's a Spanish, that's a Spanish teacher in a high school, invited me to her class to talk about Cuba. And since I don't really know a lot of history of Cuba, when I talk about Cuba, I talk about my experience. And so I spoke about the Mariel and my experience. And that's how I started talking about this. And of course, after that, everyone wanted to invite me to their classrooms. And then the College of Charleston did a whole semester about Cuba when Obama started opening up, and they asked me to write an essay for a website they did. But today I realized that people really need to talk about this. Really need to have these stories talked about, because we need to start. First of all, the world needs to hear everything we've been through. That's number one. And number two, we need to start healing emotionally.
It's too much. Hate and sadness inside of
Start healing.
Yeah, like resentment.
That's a word. We didn't get over, and we're still having, because the family is still behind, and we still seeing it. So all that plus what we suffer is a bit. It's a very bad combination. In
many years of keeping all this bottled up inside, and it's not good.
Yeah, it's like you swallow this bitterness, and
at the same time,
you just
that's
pretend, and you live your life and everything, and but that's
that's exactly why I mean, thanks God I need a break a little bit. So all these classes and stuff kind of like pushed me back a little bit, because like Iskar was saying, you get so into it, the topic, either what is happening here, what is happening in Cuba, what is happening around the world, that sometimes you need to stay out for a little bit until your brain kind of like catch up, because too many information. You see people, what happened in San Isidro, aggravates me. I got really mad of it, and I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to chill out until I can see clearly, because honestly, what I want is just put every single person that did that pack up C4 and blow them up, because it's no other way. How are you going to actually do something to a group of people that is defenseless, cannot be actually, cannot defend themselves on the condition that we're doing, and you advantage of that and kind of like do whatever you want just to put an example. Like, yeah, you are a criminal. That's the example I got. You don't respect human life at all. So, but it's unfortunately, like you said, is you had to stay back and heal from the inside, because you're still seeing your family suffering while we are here still suffering for them too as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because honestly, I feel great that I'm here, but it's just that I feel really, really, really bad about the people inside, my friends, my family, the lack of hope they have. So, but I mean, in a way, I'm thankful that I'm here, because obviously I have a great life here. But at the same time, the only reason I'm even doing this is because I have a lot of people I love that have no hope and and then they're completely being mistreated over there for no reason.
Yeah. So we have a good friend that's in the chat right now. Temas a los locos, a lo loco. He has a Spanish channel that goes on Sundays at 7 p.m. And he's telling us that he's going to share his link in his channel. But thank you for being with us. I know that you're always supporting all of our channels. And then there was another gentleman, Jorge Delgado. He says he's a doctor, and he had to leave his kids behind in order to escape the dictatorship. Um, I got broke. Yeah, you know, Jorge, stories like we all, there's a story behind every Cuban, and I want to tell those stories. I think I'm going to start interviewing. I'm going to start interviewing Cubans and their story, and start telling those stories, because the world needs to know our stories.
Yeah.
You taking my ideas, all right? That's what I was telling you guys. What I
No,
wanted to,
you said the First
post
Amendment. You said
everything.
that's politics. That's got nothing to do with
You know,
the
that's what the
emotion.
First Amendment is for, freedom of speech. So you can say. So I want to hear it from everybody, and you
No,
actually want to take
I'm going to be
my.
a motivational speaker, honey.
No, but I mean, I like it. I mean, it's a good idea, and I mean, we need to actually express ourselves and kind of like show to the world what we've been through it, while we still going through it, because it's not like Jose and everybody agreed here. It's not hard, it's not easy living here, have everything, have freedom, have food, have pretty much what you can actually earn from yourself. And when you look in battle, you call because you have to, because it's not a way you can communicate with your family. I can, pass the page. You have to call, and all you hear is like, I need this, I got this necessity.
I actually already have two channels in process. I have one in Spanish. It's called Testimonios y Conversaciones, and I have another one that's called Let's Talk About Cuba. So I have to figure out what I'm gonna do there. But I want to do one in English, because I feel that that I need some English testimonies, and of course there's going to be people that only speak Spanish, so we'll see.
So it sounds like you and I were in the same channel, like when I was speaking at different library, right? Like,
minds think alike. What do you want me to tell you?
I can't help you then. So if we go from the same path, I might help you with that.
I don't know what I'm going to do all of this, because I have a family, I have a business to run, I have so many other things to do, but we'll see.
Yeah, I wanna get in that world that has business and stuff like that, but I'm actually working towards my degree first, and then open that part. So I might ask you about that.
I'm supposed to be semi-retiring. I don't know when that's going to be happening, but
No, don't do it. Keep going.
Well, retire from work, but not from us. So you have to stay with us for.
Yeah. Like I invest in more things, and I'm doing more projects, and I don't know, whatever.
You can retire from the world, but not from us. You have to stay with us.
That if I don't have like 10 projects going on at the same time, I'm not a happy person.
Oh, you got 4 already. You got us. You got Jose, Sydney, Rique, and me. So I have 4. So you need 6 more. So.
I have all the Somos Más coordinators on a chat that I have to keep them in line. You don't know everything I've got going on.
So you don't need. You got plenty of it to keep yourself busy. So the other side, the business stuff, don't worry about it, man. Just worry about us. No, but I mean, thanks God. I mean, it's something that is very interesting, and like you guys said, I mean, we need to actually come more together in terms like actually organize and help, and also expose our experience to the world. Because I've noticed lately, people doesn't know what actually is the reality of Cuba, and they buy the idea, oh, it's the perfect place, it's a perfect environment, and it's safe, and it's that, and Cubans exaggerate a little bit, or misleading information.
That's the propaganda they've done. They're good propaganda. We need to do the good propaganda on the other side, and that's why we need to get have the money, have the artists, and have all the resources that come together to do what this Oliver Stone is doing, but the truth.
Kick him up. Really good.
And we gotta talk about.
I have a whole project already put together that I've already talked to Eliezer about that, and you and I need to talk about it.
Oh yeah. We're gonna hit this as well.
Let's go.
There's so much in Spanish you say there is so much cloth to cut, tela para cortar. I mean, you could just make out so many manteles out of the Cuban question. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's
we
true.
have a lot to talk about, man. It's a long road, but I think things are also speeding up, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I agree.
So it's kind of like one of those exponential curves. We just gotta keep going. More people will look temas a lo loco, right?
Yeah,
Um, every day we have more YouTubers. Every day we have more people telling the truth. Putting their truth out there. So
yeah,
that's that's what matters. That's the way to go. We're gonna get this dictatorship. Like I don't know. I think there's like a Chinese thing where it's like death by 1,000 cuts. That's little bit. Everybody. Pa, pa, pa. Oh, what do they say? Wait, they have a word. Those things that sting. Un avispero. Yeah, they do that, right? That's what they call it when they repress people. They bring all these.
Avispa negra.
La waspa, like avispas negras,
No, but
o
like
boina roja,
I
like
think they
a,
had some demonstrations with students, and they would kind of be like, "Oh, we love the revolution," and they would call that like an avispero or something like that. So we're gonna turn that right back on them. There's a
yeah. Me
lot
too.
more people that want freedom than like the I don't know
I, I
hundred
agree.
thousand Communist Party affiliates or whatever that they have in the island. It's 11 million versus 100,000. So I think we can do it.
don't worry, like a Sydney said, we got Manchiri, so we got this. We got this. Bullets
I love
cannot
how
stop
Vanessa
us.
says like Cindy said.
Cindy said no.
Well,
We got this.
we have number one, we have determination. Number two, we have information, and number three, we have the resources. So
Oh,
we're
that's
not
right.
going to give up.
Oh yeah, we
We
got all
have
the
our
info.
virtual machetes.
Yeah.
There
That's
we
right.
go. Just remember, Pedro Valdez said it many times in the cartoons. The Mambises here only one shot, and they just beat us with those machetes. So that's what we need to take.
Yeah.
It's so true right there. And it was right. I mean, we were brave at that time, so why not? But at some day, we actually started getting close to that point, like Riquet was saying, like everybody was standing down in line and said, kill me or give me my freedom, because
That's
we
right.
cannot stand.
Yep.
We got to continue doing this.
Exactly.
So I hope that they come soon, because
Okay. Video, let's go. I got to
no more talking.
go to bed.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Let me see.
Hello. Hi. Hi. We're not gonna wait a long time because we're not that famous, so not a lot of people are going to connect right away.
And we're not also doing this for publicity.
Not at all. This is just our duty as Cubans. Welcome everybody, whoever is joining. Thank you so much for joining us, and we are here to bring awareness of the situation in Cuba, about what is happening with a group of Cubans that are called El Movimiento San Isidro. 14 very, very, very brave people that are, 2 of them are on hunger strike. Right?
They've been in a hunger strike for
6 days now,
6 days
or
now.
9 days,
Yeah,
something
even
like
more.
it's very concerning. And for the first time in a long time,
Yes.
Cubans inside and outside of Cuba are feeling hope, are feeling this spark, are feeling that times are changing and that we have to say something. We have to say something, and in our case, we're saying, bringing the message to Canada, because we live in Toronto now, and we need to let the Canadians know what is happening.
The real situation. We're not crazy when we say that Cuba has a dictatorship. So every time we get interviews, we say this and we say it one time and 100 times over, because it's true. It's not some angry black women talking in a concert. It's just like we're trying to bring in awareness, because I know how wonderful Cuba is, how wonderful the hotels are, and the beaches and everything, you know, and the people. People are wonderful, and we deserve a future. I say we, yes, because yes, we live here, but our families, all of our families are back there. And even though if all of our families are in here, we still feel like Cubans, and we want the Cubans to have a future, to have democracy, to get rid of a bad government. It is a bad government, and it's not about like establishing a dialogue with the dictatorship. There is no dialogue with the dictatorship. And we need to acknowledge this. It's not a matter of being political or not. It's a matter that your mother, your father, your uncle, your kids don't need to wait for recharge the mobile phones in order to have a life online, things like that. And freedom for the political prisoners, that is also an issue. And in the dialogue that last night at the meeting when they have at the culture ministry in Havana, yes, that was fantastic. That all people that we know that went to school with me, you know, and Isa,
and we are all proud of them.
We're proud of you guys.
But you did not count on El Movimiento San Isidro.
You did not mention any names.
And you did not demand the freedom of Solis, Alcantara, and all these women that are being held in their houses right now. In their houses. All these people are being so brave. And we are here to represent the Cubans that don't live in Cuba. We cannot say and we cannot do what the Cubans in Cuba are doing. But what we can do is to send this message in English for the Canadians, for all the people that follow us. And we're extremely happy to
have friends here,
that
support us.
Exactly.
Yes, but our music comes from that struggle too. And you know, it's not a happy place, even though we make it happy.
And we risk everything too, because for the longest time, the Cubans don't want to be political. The artists outside of Cuba don't want to be political, because then that, you know, it brings some shame and people don't want to talk about it. But we do.
Fear. Yes, we do have fear.
Because we lost everything. We lost a country. We lost our mothers. We haven't seen our mothers in years. So I don't care. I don't care because I have nothing bigger or stronger to lose.
The only fear here is the matter of, oh, I'm not going to be able to go back to Cuba. Boho to you. None of us can go back to Cuba, and we're here trying to fight for them. And you know what? We've been told also, oh, but you're not there fighting among those people. I was one of them. I was there fighting.
That's why you're a refugee in this country.
That's why I'm a refugee in this country. I was there. But you know what? I'm no martyr. I'm not a soldier. None of us have guns. We are actually making
peaceful.
It's a peaceful protest. It is peaceful. We're only demanding our basic rights. And
human rights.
We should not ask for permission in order to get our humans right. You know, it's our human right. And the fact that that government has only one party and has only one voice doesn't allow us to exercise our freedoms, you know. Those are the people that are fighting. San Isidro movement is the people that are fighting right now. The Damas de Blanco, the Unpacu in Santiago de Cuba, my city, they are fighting right now. And for years, they've been fighting for years.
And no one knows. So this life is mostly to bring awareness to the Canadians. If the Canadian government allows refugees from Cuba, it's because they have grounds. They have things to say that cannot say in Cuba. So if the Canadian government has refugees, it means that the situation in Cuba is serious enough. So it means that if you live here and you have enjoy of our beaches and our women and our men and our social, cultural, whatever, means that you should care about Cuba and you should not look the other way anymore.
I know, and I know, I know. It sounds bad right now, and it looks bad in anybody's resume right now to make deals with North Korea or have friends in North Korea and things like that. We need to get to the point when making businesses with Cuba
It's shameful.
is shameful. It's bad because you're aiding a dictatorship. You're with your money, you're allowing these people to go to our country. You're allowing these people to suppress us, our rights. People,
And
that's the
why-
only thing. That's what we're posting. I know everything we're posting is in Spanish because we're just sharing all of our friends' fights in Cuba, in Miami, yes, in Miami, and in the whole world. We're just sharing that, and I know some things are in Spanish and you cannot understand, but we are here
That's why we're
to
explaining.
make you understand.
If you have any questions, if you want to know more, if you
Call
want to
us.
know how to help, if you want to know where to go, where to get informed, the reason why we're doing this is because people need to know the real Cuba. We have been hiding behind this tourism and behind the music and behind the culture and behind all these beautiful things that come out of that island, but this cannot be allowed anymore. Cuba has a dictatorship, plain and simple. If you go there, your money supports the dictatorship. It's that simple. If we as Cubans don't go there because we don't want to support it, then it means that you can go somewhere else. There are other places with, Dominican Republic and every country. We're saying that every country is struggling right now. This is not
And it
more
does
special.
hurts us because our families are there. So the fact that we're saying this, don't go to Cuba, you think that our mothers are gonna be happy because we don't go and we say, people don't go to Cuba. Yes, they're struggling, but they will continue to do so because none of the embargo things that people say out there, and I know the embargo is real. People, the embargo is real with many things. That the embargo makes sure that Amazon don't get to Cuba. It makes sure that McDonald's don't get to Cuba because the big enterprises from the U.S. cannot make businesses in Cuba. So I understand that. I understand that part. But in other hand, the embargo also
allows food to get into Cuba. The
Thank
chicken that the Cubans eat is from the United States of America. So the real embargo that we have is from the government, from within the own system, that they don't allow Cubans to talk, to speak, to be proud of what they believe. They have been there for more than 60 years. Imagine if you don't like Trudeau, if you didn't like Harper,
Or
if you don't
Ford.
like Ford, imagine having those people for 60 years and you cannot say anything against them. Imagine that for a second, just for a second. I'm pretty sure you will understand. So it's important that you share, it's important that you ask questions, it's important that you understand the struggle is real.
And also,
people.
yeah, well, what I was saying about the embargo is like the money that the United States don't allow into my country, my mom will never see it. So they stopped the jets from going from Miami to Havana, and none of that money, our families, because we're regular Cubans, none of that money our families are gonna see. The only ones that are affected are the Castros. The only ones that are affected are their businesses. That's the thing. The regular Cuban don't see the embargo problem. You see why? Because they have no businesses. That's the thing. They have no businesses.
There is racism in Cuba. There is all the bad things that you can imagine, all of those things. Every time I hear a Canadian telling me, but you have, free healthcare, we
Don't get sick.
We get that free healthcare that don't get sick and don't go to a Cuban hospital because you would die from an infection, actually. We pay with our freedom. Canadians pay their free healthcare with taxes. We want to do the same. We want to be the same. We want to be able to pay our taxes, to get money, to travel the world, and come back to our paradise. Because we live in a paradise. Our country is a paradise that you need to go there when it's winter time and you're running away from a very, very cold situation. So we live in a paradise. We should be the ones asking Canadians for visa to come into our country. Because on top of that, we have to ask for so many visas in order to travel the world and go any little tiny place on earth. Cubans, our passports don't work anywhere because they know that we might stay, because they know that we might be immigrants. But at the same time, I dare you, all of you, to tell me how many homeless Cubans do you know? Cubans go anywhere in the world to work extremely hard. They learn other languages. There are Cubans everywhere, in Russia, in France,
China,
in China, everywhere. They learn the language. They work hard. They send money back. I don't want to be sending money back. And I want the Canadian government to allow my mother to come and visit me and visit her. She hasn't seen her mother in 7 years.
It is the worst consulate in the world. The Canadian consulate in Cuba
Denies
holds the record for more visas denied. And it's only for Cubans. And they make them have like a ridiculous amount of dollars in their bank accounts. When you have more than whatever you can explain, you get in trouble by the government. So things like that. And things, what we're talking about, the healthcare and education and all that, we've been told since we're little that those are triumphs from the revolution. Those are basic human rights. Basic human rights.
Free education.
Canada has free education. Canada has free healthcare. Yes, we pay with taxes, but you get what you pay for. I'm just saying, the thing is that we've been told that we should be grateful to the dead guy because we have free healthcare and free education. That's our basic human
My
right.
mother is a nurse. Her mother is a lawyer. My mother makes $40 a month. Her mother used to make 30.
My mom
20.
had to be a maid from
And
a
had to-
hotel. So forget about the law. She knows all the law, but she cannot exercise the law. You know why? Because she don't get paid. So the fact that she had to put food on my table and me not knowing anything about the outside world and the struggles from Cuba, I have to thank my mom for being a maid at a hotel. You see? Like serving you.
One of those hotels
Serving
that
you. And okay, she was happy and we made a lot of friends out of that. Like, it's not about you. It is not your fault. You're just there to enjoy. It's the fact that you acknowledge what you're doing right
The Canadian government, we're demanding the Canadian government to acknowledge the situation in Cuba, to acknowledge El Movimiento San Isidro, to acknowledge all these women are the Damas de Blanco, to acknowledge all of those women out there, women and men fighting, the hunger strike. Where are those people that they just took from their houses? They were peacefully protesting in their house, and the government sent people dressed as doctors saying that they were violating some health whatever issue, using the pandemic,
using the COVID-19 to prevent this and separate them. So you see things like that the regime, the tyranny, that the dictatorship has used for so many years. It's old, people. It is old. They've been doing this. Enough is enough. And a revolution, yes, it is happening in Cuba, but we don't use that word anymore because
they stole it.
They
stole it from us.
And that word doesn't mean the same to none of us.
So please, what we're doing, we're not going to keep talking for too long here.
No.
We want to let you know that Cuba needs help. The Canadian government needs to acknowledge the situation in Cuba. Because
visibility.
You have thousands of Canadians, and I don't know how many Canadians, I know millions of Canadians go to Cuba every year. And only
the
a
highest
handful
tourism
of Cubans can come to Canada, and they need to apply with visas and things like that, and horrible
Go to hell and back in order
Yeah.
to be allowed into Canada. Really?
So it's not fair.
Seriously?
It is not a fair relationship in between countries. It is not fair that we are forgotten. It is not fair that people look the other way because they want to enjoy the country, the backyard of Cuba being so warm. You need to share this video. You need to let people know that the situation in Cuba is real. That yesterday, some artists went to the Ministry of Culture and made an agreement that does not work and does not represent the Cubans. In this case, we are talking about the immigrants. We are not representing the Cubans inside of Cuba because we don't live there. And those are the brave ones. We are only helping in the possible
To
way
make
that we
them
can help,
visible.
to make them visible. So if you follow us, if you have listened to our music, if you're watching this video, I please ask you to share and to let people around you know that Cuba needs help.
And Montreal, en ce moment, there's en grève.
Maybe.
There is a riot right now by the Cubans in Montreal at this very moment. As
Unfortunately,
we speak.
we're in
we're in
lockdown
lockdown. We
in
cannot
Toronto.
do anything in Toronto. But the Montreal people, the
No,
Montreal
ya
folk,
estamos
the
acabando.
Cubans in Montreal,
¿Qué puso
and
ese
all our
cabrón?
friends, our
Aquí,
French
ahora.
friends, are helping and are there, getting organized and protesting against this.
Gracias a todos los cubanos.
Merci
Gracias
a
a
tous.
todos los cubanos que están
Partagez,
luchando, todas esas
partagez.
mujeres valientes que mientras exista una cubana y un cubano que hablen así, una cubana y un cubano que defienda, que no tenga miedo, que enseñe a los esbirros, que les tire fotos, que los enseñen videos, que se les enfrente. Nosotros tenemos que hacer algo y tenemos que decir algo. Estamos muy agradecidas, estamos muy conmovidas, estamos súper pendientes de todo lo que está pasando. Y no importa, we can risk our lives in and the careers that we have, and I'm doing this because it's important to put things in perspective. There are people willing to die, literally, for something that will benefit all of us.
Yes.
So the least we can do is share and comment and like
And
send it
respect
to people.
everybody's effort to do that. Don't say that, oh, you're not in Cuba, oh, you're here, how comfortable it is to do that from the comfort of your own home. It is comfortable to defend dictatorship from here, from the freedom. So that is what is comfort, not this. And I still respect you.
But it's not comfortable to leave your country behind.
No.
It's not comfortable to leave your mother behind. It's not comfortable to learn another language and be in like minus 35. That is not comfortable.
It's not fun.
We're also doing
But we're
things.
here.
You know, I want to be in Cuba. I want to be in my Havana house, just looking at the beach and enjoying life. It's not comfortable for anybody, for none of us. It's not comfortable to be working here and sending money to my mother. If she's a professional, she should be sending money to me.
Exactly. So
she's
things
a nurse.
do need to change because in my case, we've been living immigration. I've been living immigration since I moved to Havana. So I know what it feels to be an outsider because I felt that. And I felt it with the police harassment in Havana just because my ID said that I was from Santiago de Cuba. Yes, that was the Cuba that I used to live in. So that's why immigrating here was a piece of cake because I've been doing this for a long time. A long, long time. And many friends out there who already went with me to Elisa, if you think differently, like for a tiny minute, you get sent to jail and you know it. And that's our fear. We got fear that for our families in Cuba. But
Right
you know
now,
what?
yep.
That's not the way we're
But they have
helping.
nothing else to lose. That's
Exactly.
it.
What are you gonna take from them? The food? They have no food. The money? They got no money. The dignity? They got no dignity.
They
So
stole it all.
they stole our soul from us. So, and they're cowards because this is what they do. You think differently, they beat you up. They beat you up and they lock you up. And this thing needs to stop. Now, it is not only the US. Don't worry only about the US. Worry about Cuba. this is happening. This is for you, the Cubans, and for you, the Cuban government. So thank you very much for watching and
listening. Please share.
Please. I'm
don't
sorry if
forget
we
to
get
share.
very passionate, but you know,
We're gonna be bringing a song about
Yeah.
this situation that we wrote actually a few days ago, and we're working on a lot of projects right now. But again, Proyecto San Isidro. Those are the people that you want to go and look,
Yes.
check out, and any news that come out of those, that the Cuba that says anything about them.
Thank
From
you
the,
to, yeah,
the
all of
Prensa
you. Yeah,
Independiente,
Prensa Independiente.
independent press, because the authorities in Cuba are denying all of this. So please
The press from the
share.
government is silent through all
Share.
this that is happening.
Compartan,
So,
compartan, compartan.
partagez,
It's-
s'il vous plaît, tous les amis en français. Please, I know you understand Spanish. Je sais que vous comprenez l'espagnol. S'il vous plaît, partagez pour nous, pour tous nous. Merci à tous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Okay, so while the video was playing, I contacted them through Messenger, and they replied that they would be happy to talk to us. Just let them know so that we can coordinate a date and time.
This is how we do it. Excellent, Iskra. You're the best.
Yes, I am. So let me know when, and when you want to bring them in.
Next week. Done.
Done.
Next week
Okay.
at 10 p.m. Let's do it. Next week at 10 p.m. is what day? Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Wait, today's Tuesday? Oh no, it's already Tuesday. Okay, the 14th.
Yeah.
Yes, the 14th at 10 p.m.
Why are we doing
Be
this
here
on
with
Tuesday? What
Ogan.
happens on Mondays?
Repeat?
What happened to Mondays?
No, yeah, it's Monday. Monday. Yeah, I just saw that it's 12:02,
14 is Monday.
so I was confused. Yeah.
Oh, because it's
It's already
12:02.
Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's try to keep it to 1 hour.
That's not
but-
gonna be it. So, Ricket, okay. 1 hour is just not possible
It's
for
not
us.
gonna happen. You don't think so? You don't think we
No,
can?
because you're never gonna get enough news for in one. You're just gonna grow the channel in 1 hour because people start. You can't.
You got
because people start
it's too short.
finding out about you being here in about 30 minutes into the show. So the channel does not even start to get notifications with it until like 30 minutes in.
10 to
So,
12 it is. I'm okay with it. If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Until whatever is done. So let's leave it
No,
like
Ernesto,
that.
no. 10 to 12. I love you guys. I love you, audience.
Hey, it's a sacrifice. I mean, a
What
victory
are
is
you
required a
doing?
big sacrifice. All
What are
right.
you doing? And now we have to do it at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is late for me. 10 to 12 is very late.
Yeah.
I like that number. No problem.
Oh my God. But
I'll help you. All right. I actually, I'm gonna I help in Tampa. I will help you. To
please
keep it
help
up.
me with the coordination if you can get in here because it's I just
I'm
don't have the
actually
time.
I forget I have access also to the
Yeah,
StreamYard.
Ernesto, you do have
Wait,
access.
I
Yes.
have access. Now I have access to StreamYard too. So I can
Yeah.
put it together now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So
thank
let
you.
me know. You got my number. Text me what you want to have in advance if you don't have it, and I can back you up on
Okay,
that.
can we do 9 to 11, Iskra?
Yes, we can do
Okay.
9 to 11.
Tell them we're going to do it at 9 p.m. on the 14th.
Got it. Done.
Alrighty.
Done and done.
Thank
Okay.
you, guys.
Good
Thank
night.
you, everyone.
Have
I
a good
love
one.
you. Viva Cuba
Bye-bye.
Libre.
Via Cuba Libre. See you guys. Pleasure.
Thanks everyone that's joined us.